Take a seat.
Are you all taking any sacrifices, yourselves, your managements, during this time?
Well, as of now, not yet, I guess. I think these days you hear a lot of news in the press about retrenchments and things like that. I guess it's something debatable as to what extent you should take these sort of steps in terms of retrenchment. Some companies take it very quickly, others don't like to do so. We belong to a category of company that try not to do so, mainly because of a personal belief that I actually have as well, because we're dealing with human beings. I think as employers of the company, as shareholders, you want your employees to help the company think for the long term, fight for the long term. If that is the way we want it, then we need to have some long-term planning for the staff as well. So as a company, we believe that it's important to be able to ride through ups and downs without making massive kind of action. If we need to reduce costs, then certainly the first course of action would be to take a salary adjustment, and typically I'll expect the more senior people to take a bigger adjustment first.
Chinese always say, 创业难，守财更难. So because of that,
so what does that mean?
Okay, sorry. I forgot it's such a multicultural here in Singapore. Well, it's tough to build business, but then if you want to sustain and manage your money and keep the wealth, it's even more tougher than you building your business. So therefore, I was brought up in this family environment. You got to run a mean and a lean operation. So at good times and the bad times, when bad time comes, it's not going to affect you too much. But definitely you got to reward your staff in a very big way when you're in a good time. And there's many different ways to encourage people to do so. And I don't believe, I had recently a question from a human resource people, and I don't personally believe that when bad time comes, cutting costs, retrench people is the solution or the only solution. If you want to manage your money very well, you could have done it from day one, long way back. But unfortunately, in today's world, that when you do well, so-called director's fees, and people don't really spend their money costly and wisely. I think this is something that you should always remember, and it's a fundamental part of it, and it will make your business very strong in the long run. So you can go through any challenge, whether it's good time or bad time. For us, in fact, we are hiring more people. And also, at the same time, I'm always very positive. And this is a good time to do some soul searching with the staff. And we had people that did not perform well, or we give so many opportunities that even, to such a extent, I want to get rid of them, honestly. But then during the crisis, they know. They start to treasure the job. They take more responsibility. I think if they can learn from the hard time, that is such a great value to the company. So they will grow with you together for long term. So I'm a big believer in that, because I know and I truly understand that business is all about people business. It's not about what you sell. I mean, in my life, in my career, I've done it all. I won't say done it all, but the marine I haven't done yet. But
You're welcome. You said yet.
Never sell cars.
You said yet. You may do it still. Sorry, go
ahead. So whether it's in hotel, whether it's in F&B, selling wine or cigar, or to me, ultimately, it's all about people business, because you present that, and people remember you, and people coming back to you. Of course, the logo is important, advertisement is important, but again, it's the people.
Yeah, I think currently at Pinnacle we are, re-engineering, be it the businesses, the IT, or the whole strategy itself, because we have to be relevant to today's market. I totally agree with what Annie just mentioned about treasuring our people. I've got very, very good staff, you know. I mean, I've got really dynamic, I've got a very good team. But when we relook at the market, the company, there are some staff who are just weak, you see. And during good times, because anybody will do, you know, we just recruit because we have no choice. The business is there. So, but when times are bad like this, it is very important to me that where I want to be kind to you as well. It's also very important to me that your talent is relevant to my business today. You know, I mean, I've engaged training manager on board to train them, to empower them, giving new skills. You see, but if certain group of people are just not relevant to the business, it's going to pull down the whole ship. That's me, okay? My HODs, I've got like 20 of them. Different subsidiaries, different departments. They're all very clear about Pinnacle's financial numbers. That means the P&L, they're aware. The balance sheet, they're aware. They know our inventory levels, okay? We open it up to them so that they can contribute effectively, you know? It's open. You tell me what to do. You tell me, are we heading in the right direction, right? Is this inventory level aligned with our sales? Are we keeping 2 months of stock? And is our cost too high? You know, do we have too many people who are redundant? They tell me. So that's in Pinnacle. We are transparent. We're open. If we're not doing well in certain sector, they are aware. If we are doing well in certain sector, they're also aware. You know, and that's my style of management.
I think you just make a point of sacrifices.
Actually, you made that point.
Yes, I just reconfirmed that. I think my opinion is usually the employer will face the sacrifices, not so much as shareholders. I think in good time or bad, I think we need to strike a balance between the interests of shareholder and the employee, especially bad time. Most of the decision make is towards the welfare or the interest of shareholder. Now, if we do that, I think we will alienate the employee, the workforce. On the other hand, if they are good-hearted, the bosses will take too much care on the employee, then you probably breed a very complacent company. So there must be this balance. And depending on the economic situation, that balance must move. Well, there are certain actions I do. For example, in terms of profit, every year, shareholder don't have the first cut of the profit. It's the employee. So what I usually do is a certain percentage of that taken out and being shared with the employee according to the performance. That's why I say that we have variable bonus every month. Right. And what will remain will go back to the shareholders. I think it's important because as a boss or shareholder, we really have to know what are the hardship of the employee, especially when they are without jobs. Some CEO have to follow this instruction because, well, it's the shareholder that pay the bill, right? But I'm in a very fortunate position because I'm also one of the shareholder. You know?
That helps.
So I think it's important to strike a balance between the interest of shareholder and the interest of employee in good time or bad, especially bad time.
I'm sure a lot of employees in a lot of companies would love to have shareholders like you. I'd like to thank our 4 panelists for a very engaging and enlightening morning. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take a seat.